Hey up everyone, what's going on and welcome back to York City. If you've not watched yesterday's episode, you'll find out whether or not we retained our title. For those that have, yes we did, well done. Well done, thank you for watching. But the most important news in the week that followed is this. Leeds beat Tottenham and stayed up. Leeds' last two games were Tottenham and Man United. Well done Leeds, we'll see you again next year. The final day left the league table looking something like this, actually. In fact, it ended up looking exactly like this. I don't know why I said something. I just want to give a brief shout out to Everton, who fought their way into 7th for no reason. Chelsea put them to the EC2 because of Carabao Cup, and Liverpool pipped them to 6th on the final day. On the final day. That's got to sting. Absolutely devastating for the Everton fans. Tottenham lost 4 in a row. Absolutely crumbled. Didn't even get Champions League football in the end. Has to be said, Arsenal crumbled as well. 3 draws in a row at the end. Oh, and yeah, you may notice we won by 1 point in the end. Didn't get to 88 because guess who? I don't know. I have brought you back a few days from the FA Cup on purpose. I will just show you Team of the Year, by the way, just because obviously the York year isn't fully done yet. So all that's still to come after the FA Cup final. We had 5 people in Team of the Year. Zarta and Rick in the middle of defence. Seri and Cantoro actually, quite surprisingly, under the radar, snuck in on the right-hand side. And Carpentier, actually, surprised me the most, I've got to say. Carpentier surprises me the most because not really sensational, just over a 7 average. The Premier Division was actually his worst aspect of all the competitions he was a part of. So not really sure how that happened. What's even more baffling is the fact that Renato Blatt wasn't in that team of the season, despite having a significant advantage over Cantoro in the average ratings. Also, Helio and Rosie really should have been the other striker alongside Lubinovic. I don't understand that. Just to put the Carpentier thing into perspective, not even in the top 20. Nathan Watson, striker. Guri, striker. Brenner, striker. Had to check that one. Rosie, Helio, striker. There's 5 strikers in the top 20 and none of them got ahead of, well, 6 if you include the one that did. Baffling. Baffling. The day before the FA Cup final, Christian's out for 2 to 3 weeks. I could inject him. He's 1 appearance away from getting a wage boost as well. He came to me with wanting a new contract. The bizarre thing is, 1 more appearance, he actually does get another 10 grand a week. Anyway, there's no point. There's no real justification for giving him an injection there. I'm not going to lie, I am not ruling out sabotage from Baxter. Apart from Baxter, the good news is, of course, we do essentially have one I view as our best 11 available to us. I know Kovalev on star rating isn't technically the best 11, but performance-wise, over the course of the season, he has been the best in that role. Baxter in goal, Kovalev, Zarta and Rick in the back line with Shaunan on the right, Vidarson and Seri in the middle, Carpentier, Vidal and Cantoro available on that attacking midfield line with Silva up front. He is back, fully fit, still mostly sharp as well. Have had a word with Godoy, but 6.56, he's not starting an FA Cup final. Don't be ridiculous. Oh yeah, I've also had to put the young Capaceti on the bench because of the cup situation. I don't want to be goalkeeperless on the bench. So yeah, the young Capaceti's come in just to sit there more than anything. And also have a surprisingly few amount of new gens in their team. I mean, we've had 3 bookings in the first 7 minutes. What are we doing? What happened? What? I mean, it's the only thing that's happening in this final. I mean, 3 bookings in the first 7 minutes, and then nothing for 20 more. James has that one clear. Foden gets on the end of that defensive header because, you know, what doesn't work for us works for them. Lorenzo coming forward, still coming forward. It's gone in. I was so about to write that off. I'm surprised. We see this highlight time and time and time again, and he's put it in. He's actually put it in. Kovalev, though. Time for an immediate response, perhaps not quite. Seri heads it down to Cantoro. That's hoofed by Jadon Sancho. Zarta. Kovalev now, again. Carpentier, one of the people that got booked. Whips it in, Silva. Cantoro's there, 1-1. Immediate response. Cantoro does love an FA Cup final. Oh, it's Vidal. It's Vidal who loves the... Sorry. I just got Cantoro and Vidal mixed up there. Vidal loves the FA Cup final. Cantoro, though, loving this one. 14 goals for Cantoro as well. That has gone a little under the radar. I think that technically makes him the 3rd highest scorer at this point as well. Petraglia, he's evaded Kovalev. Okay, maybe Kovalev's still got a little bit more to work on. Is that 3 goals in 6 minutes after 27 minutes of literally nothing? Foden, though, just runs around the entire defence. And, Petraglia evades Kovalev quite nicely there. I did realise I've just said that pretty much through gritted teeth. I'll speak normally again. Vidal, what is Vidal doing lately? I don't understand Vidal right now. He was subbed off with a 6.3 last match. He's on a 6.4 this match at half-time, aggressively. Showed me something else in the second half. I'm not going to pretend. I am questioning just the attacking midfielder role in general. With the wealth of strikers that we have, 2 up front might be something we deploy more often next year, particularly if Vidal continues the way he is. He has moments of brilliance and then just disappears for weeks. Carpentier, though, sorry. Not one of the few people that came to me with various problems in the week between the last match and the FA Cup. I don't know why they couldn't have waited. See, that's the kind of thing we normally see with highlights like that. And actually, it's at 73 minutes all of a sudden. Teko on for Vidal, Saxton on for Kovalev, who's not been terrible, but he is anxious and booked, so not a good combination to be having for the last 15 minutes. I want to make a change, but nothing improves the team. There is an immediate highlight after not changing anything, though. Carpentier. Vidarson moves forward with the ball slightly, back to Teko. Lumps it forward a little bit to Carpentier. That's a bit fortunate that it still ends in a York. What? Oh, it was a save. I thought somehow the post there was spring-loaded the way that just boinged away from it. Goalkeeper intervention. What was that from Silva? So Silva plays the ball into the path of Carpentier. No, he didn't. He just kicked it straight at the defender. Teko hoofs it forward to James. Nothing else. 12 seconds to go. Petraglia just... What? Sorry. There was a little weird charge from Saxon there towards Petraglia, for zero reason. The ball had been headed out, and then after the ball had gone out, Saxon just ran at their defender. Well, we've lost the final again. I mean, normally these things I get a chance to just talk about next year's stuff, but I've spent most of it just being furious, / questioning where are the highlights. Sorry, France boss, Jose Mourinho. I could say he was Portugal boss, which made sense. He's actually spent the last 8 years in international management. He was Belgium manager for 4, Portugal manager for 4, and then France now. The only actual club job he took after the Man United one was Roma. This is original database just to remind people. In terms of trophies that matter, of course, we did get the Community Shield. Just the one then, the Premier League title. I mean, as silverware goes, it's not a bad one. By the way, Liverpool fans, sneaking 6th and Europa League football on the final day was not enough to keep Pep Guardiola his job. The bad news is, it's getting worse. Oh, how the mighty have fallen. No offence to Marco Silva, but come on. So players inducted. Rick has been inducted, along with Vidal on the bench, which is actually interesting considering the formation doesn't include an attacking midfielder. So I am wondering where they're going to put him in and where they would put him in on this. Quite fascinatingly though, Rick moving into the centre of defence here has pushed Edgar to the left. You would have thought Coleridge would have been the one to move over there, considering he is actually pretty competent. As for the former players of our club, our favourites, Tony Ebersbach has actually returned to England. He's at Watford now. And Edgar's still at Sunderland. Lee Towers actually returned to England football. I did not know that Lee Tower had returned. Oh, he was only ever on loan at Getafe. Right. I think it was Tony who permanently went across the pond to Cagliari in Italy. A little bit further across the pond than I thought. I mean, that's a little bit depressing. Apart from that word there. Match of the season, you didn't see. Moment to forget, you did. Club expectations. Semi-final minimum now. Oh, God. I think there was actually that last year. I've just remembered. I don't think we actually reached their expectations for the Champions League. Good to know that in terms of the Premier League, though. Just settle for where we are. Apparently, Jonathan Gonzalez's poor form was enough to get him 3rd in La Liga. Goal scoring list. Poor form. Maybe he was on a bad run, but still. Come on. Yeah, we're going to have 4 brilliant strikers next year. This is problematic. This is going to be problematic. Vidal, my friend, you kind of need to be looking over your shoulder a bit. And speaking of, let's of course have a look at how our team has done over the course of the year, statistic-wise. And a surprising name at the top, actually, Ewan Barwick. 7.56, 7 appearances, starting 3 off the bench. Very much sort of our Phil Foden at the moment, in the sense that he is a young English player that we're probably not playing as much as we ought to in terms of developing him. Still got that potential, 3.5 star, maybe 4.5. Not a bad minutes per goal, actually, as well. 3 goals in those 10-ish appearances. Right. James Grimes actually does edge Sarri and Vidalson for average rating. Slightly awkward. Same with Pulisic as well. You got to bear in mind, actually, a lot of these rotation options came in during those sort of like the Champions League qualifying, the group stages for the Champions League, the early rounds of the FA Cup, Carabao Cup, where we sort of demolished teams a little bit. A lot of their ratings are skewed in that sense. Washington, one of those players, of course, played once, 7.3. Might well have been the demolition of Fenerbahce, was it? Same with players like Meluso, Claudel, cup competitions. This is probably the most surprising one though. Ali Simpara, 7.1, 24 appearances he actually started, with Xiaonan starting 34. He actually started 24 games. Xiaonan had an injury, didn't he, as well as the bans. Oh yes, Xiaonan was on international duty for a while. Completely forgot about that. That's why he started so many. Considering he's probably regarded as one of the worst players in our side right now. I'm proud of the 7.1. Castillo, 20 starts, down there with the goalkeepers. Saxton down there with the goalkeepers. Godoy, Parkinson, didn't actually play that much after we brought him in. Laidlaw. Admittedly, Parkinson was mostly brought in with the anticipation of losing Coleridge, which never happened. Still a possibility. The fact we've only got these players, if we ignore the 2 goalkeepers, under a 7 average rating for the season, it's a good season all told, really. It's a good season all told. Goal-wise, Carpentier edges at the very, very end. Silva 15, Cantoro 14, Vidasa with 12. Godoy and Seri also midfield with 11. Vidal actually chipped in with 9 and 8 assists, not too bad. Laidlaw had 7 goals in 16 appearances. What? Did not realise that. Central defence not quite as prolific. And assist-wise, Seri a bit more of an assist machine. Snuck quite a lot of those in towards the end, I seem to remember. Doesn't quite beat his record last year, which was 16, I think. Cantoro with 13 assists as well. Not too bad on that front. And again, a little bit quiet. A little bit underappreciated assist-wise, maybe Vidal, Vidas and Grimes. Xiaonan, 7 assists. Godoy actually had 6 as well from the striking role. Not too bad. I just want to have a brief look at our central 2 defenders. It's something I do find interesting in terms of the mistakes, because central defence, bear in mind mistakes include defensive headers to the opponent and things like that. The pair of them have averaged 1 per game, pretty much. Each. Tackles, 2.5 per game. Tackle rate's pretty high. Header rate's pretty high. Headers 1, over 6 for the pair of them per game. Defensively, these 2 have done very, very well. Courage started quite a lot as well. 24 mistakes and 25 starts again. About 1 per game. Header-wise, though, a little bit lower. He's not quite as good at that. But with Rick and Nazata, imperious in that regard. Parkinson actually averages nearly 8. But that's it for this season. We'll join you again in September of 2031. There is the International League thing for England in the meantime, but it's the International League. We don't care about that anymore. I'll bring you Euros in terms of England next time that pops around next summer. And in terms of York as a whole, I haven't really mentioned this just yet. Obviously, we could win the Champions League next year. That's going to put a spanner in the works in the sense of I'm probably definitely going to do 2 more years of York. That's the main aim. Maybe 3 if we've still not won things by then. Who knows? But of course, we are at the tail end of this journey, as sad as that may be. That said, of course, still got 1 more year. Still got probably 2 more years, as I just said. So I will see you again for the transfer business, and I have no idea what that's going to hold. It's going to be mostly reactive. We're at that point where we've got a team and we just react to players that we're going to lose, perhaps. I'll see you in the summer. I'll see you in the September. Until then, ta-ra.